It's a 2 of in Terrence's deck here, but
The unfortunate part here with Karn, Mox Amber does still not make any mana. It specifically makes colored mana.
a color, yeah.
So it'll just still sit there being, well, we're getting a Sarkin.
Yep.
So unfortunately that Mox Amber is still going to sit there just looking pretty, but we have a Sarkin.
Yep.
So unless Terrence untaps and puts some pressure, which Spell Pierce,
Yeah.
well, he's tapped out. So if he can get like a Varix Blade Wing, we saw he has the Nissa. This just opens the door for Terrence to be able to land anything he wants. And the question is, what does he have to land? Obviously, we'd want something a little more aggressive that can haste in and deal with the Karn, but other than Gruul Spellbreaker...
But pretty much anything that has haste is going to be getting in there, so...
Oh, we're just going to stick with the Mobilized Ward. Or Mobilized District. Into a Domri? No, Spellbreaker.
So
he's going to just opt to put the counter on it, which is fair, because that keeps it out of Deafening Clarion range, keeps it out of Lightning Strike range, and now Terrence has Hexproof.
Yeah, so...
during his turn. So I definitely think that was a fine play. Like, you get to kind of keep Karn in check a little bit by knocking it down one, and also you get to get a nice hefty creature out that definitely Clarion can't deal with, which is what I've been talking about all day with these decks not playing any other form of removal is how do you deal with 4/4s?
Yeah. Also, a kind of conservative line from Terrence where he doesn't need to put invest in a lot of value on the board instead of just attacking with Mobilized District and then using that to also play at another threat. So kind of taking it slow from Terrence's side of the field here.
Which now we're just going to bounce to the Teferi, and we got a Karn construct to kind of keep things a little safe. Because even if we play something with haste now, the construct can just block it. So unless we got 2 hasters here, Karn and Teferi are probably staying alive. Unless Terrence finds some form of removal here with Shock or Lightning Strike. We got 3 mana, and it's going to be...
Domri.
Ooh, a Japanese alt art Domri. Not seen one of those yet today.
What? Can you try finding the art on that?
I think actually... Unfortunately, the Gatherer's website does not show the alternate art, but Domri, I think, can still do some work here because it's going to allow the district to fight the creature being pumped up and then kill off a Planeswalker. So definitely, the Domri was a good card to draw there for him.
Yeah.
Because the Mobilized District is able to stay alive and take the Teferi out. That is probably actually better than just finding 2 haste creatures.
Yeah. And honestly, if I sleeved up a deck today, I'd probably be running close to a playset, if not a playset of Domri. So I'm glad to seeing that card's kind of living up
I think
to potential.
Even me personally, I maybe was like, Domri seems fine, but I just didn't think Gruul was good enough. But, Terrence has definitely been proving me wrong today because he's in the finals. And the couple of matches I watched, he pretty seamlessly won. Like, he struggled a little bit against Dan Ward in the top 8 because he was playing Esper Control, but that makes sense. Dan has Kaya's Wrath. He's got Cry of Canarium. So, like, he can actually deal with those things, whereas these guys, Deafening Clarion, not good enough.
Not hitting Planeswalkers. So
here we're going to make a nice little 4/4. So if Terrence can find a removal spell for that, I think this Mobilized District is just going to keep taking this game away.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting to see both, especially being a 3-color deck. I didn't think the Jeskai deck would be playing it, but I can also see how having all the legendary permanents, like with the Planeswalkers, it makes it cheaper. It's easy to use. And I'm actually curious here if Terrence just wants to trade, but I don't know if he will. Oh, he's just going to offer. He's not even going to use Domri to do it. That's fair. The question is, do we get a good follow-up for the second main phase?
He doesn't. So he's leaving mana out, passing.
That's a little unfortunate because if all you're doing is trading your land there with the dragon and you have nothing else to follow up, then he can just, he's going to steal this Sarkin back in case one gets dealt with, and then he's just going to simply attack in for 8 here.
Yeah.
Put Terrence on a 3-turn clock.
But a clock he knows very well because he's used to attacking with his planeswalkers, turning him sideways.
He's actually only going to put him to 15, and he's just going to deal with that Domri. He's like, I don't want you to have anything. You can have that one card in hand, and that's it.
Perhaps the +1 making the creature spells uncounterable, something that Chris just doesn't want to deal with.
Yep. Which he's shocked here, so I'm curious at why he wants so much mana open. Saheeli into
another Sarkhan. So he's looking for the token, another token.
He's probably gonna make a yup. He's just like, I want to kill you next turn.
Yeah.
Wow. And definitely the interesting part is the fact that Chris didn't get to see any of Terrence's matches, so he doesn't know just how big out of nowhere that he can kill someone. But he's just like, nope, I'm giving you no chance.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put as many things on the board as possible and hope to kill you next turn, and it worked.
Yeah. So Terrence scoops it up here. So moving on to the sideboard, one thing I've been looking for all day is a red deck to pull out Fiery Cannonade, and I did not expect to see it coming out of Terrence's deck here. The only 2 copies I've seen all day, every deck list I've looked at. So
yeah, it's definitely a good one here because like Saheeli's going to sit there and make tokens, and Terrence's creatures are big enough that they can live through the Fiery Cannonade. Whereas Chris here, he's going to have Dovin's Veto. He probably saw all the Planeswalkers. There's a good possibility he's going to bring those in. Lava Coils, he needs to be able to deal with the creatures that are 4 toughness or Kindling Phoenix who needs to be exiled.
Yep.
The 4th Deafening Clarion, I don't think I'd bring that in. Legion Warboss, he's probably not looking to make creatures and buy time. He's just going to kill things.
Yeah.
Prison Realm definitely seems like a possibility. Like
100%
that's going to deal with all the creatures, all the planeswalkers, everything. Lyra, I don't think he needs it. If he feels he does, but I think he's going to look at it and be like, you've done a lot of work today. You can rest. We're going to let we can definitely just leave that in the sideboard and let the planeswalkers do all the work this game.
Yeah. So other cards from Terrence's list here. He has 3 Collision Colossus in the Saya, which is the +4/+2.
Which
spell.
I did watch. He did effectively one-shot Dan
Yeah.
Ward. He played it, like, flashed it back, all of that jazz, and was just like, he used the half that double, and he was just like, plus Sarkhan, kill you.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely a card that I think is a little slept on just because no one's really playing.
All I'm saying is Dreadhorde Arcanist getting the +1/+0 from Domri, and then casting a Collision on it, or a Colossus on it, and then recasting that Colossus on that.
That's definitely fine. I think it's good because Collision will also be able to. It's actually really good here now that I think about it because once the Sarkhan makes everything a creature, you can just 2 mana kill his Planeswalker. Or worst case, you just +4/+2 and just make things giant and just beat phase.
Yeah.
So actually, I think Collision Colossus gives Terrence a lot of versatility here. So I think that could be a sweet card to bring in.
I think so.
Just because he's probably loved that card all day. There's been so many Sarkhans in the room that it literally says 2 mana kill a Planeswalker. Like, other than D-Spark, you don't really got many of those in Standard right now. So. Or it's just, I can race you. +4.
Yeah.
Kill you. Now your Sarkhan's dead because you're dead. So I actually really like Collision Colossus here. So
there's a cute Boros charm.
Exactly. Even better than in this right now in this meta, especially with Deafening Clarion being the only board wipe being played. You don't need Indestructible. This is outclassing Boros charm all the way.
So
I can definitely see the Ripjaw Rapture coming in because I've seen it earlier against the Simic deck with Saheeli decks. Like, they really don't want to be blocking the Ripjaw Rapture because, they're saving damage, but they're giving their opponent a card.
Last match I saw Chris, he Prison Realmed Alex's Ripjaw Raptor 4 times in a row. Just because he had no other way to deal with it, and Teferi kept bouncing the Prison Realm. So
he was just like, Ripjaw Raptor are real good. I prefer you not to have this, and I can't kill it right now. So we're just gonna keep this off the board.
Yeah. So
I forgot Ripjaw Raptor's a thing. I know Andre and I were watching earlier, and we saw it come down, and we were both mesmerized that, oh my god, that's still a card. And against Saheeli, that is a
Legion,
card.
War Boss.
Yeah, against those 2 cards, it's a house. We're both off to a nice little slow start. Terrence doesn't have the turn 1 mana dork. We'll see if he has anything turn 2.
Chris also opting not to shock, not keeping up Spell Pierce, which is a 3 of, and also Shock, which is a 4 of, I believe, as well. So
yeah, but I think that's fair. He doesn't need to take the extra damage there.
No.
Like, even if he has the Shock, since Terrence didn't do anything turn 1, he probably didn't really care. Whereas here, I feel like once a turn 1 elves, when it's on turn 2, I probably wouldn't care and kill it, but it actually worked out because Terrence missed his 3rd land drop, so killing that elf was definitely the correct play, and now we're going to bounce the Growth Chamber Guardian.
Baby Teferi doing what Baby Teferi does best.
Yep. Which, if Terrence hits land and gets to like rule Spellbreaker here and kill the Teferi, we're definitely back in the driver's seat. But currently, ooh, okay, that's close enough.
Yeah, that's so.
We're just going to get a first striker and
the
kill
3
the
of Daredevil coming in. Oh my gosh.
Daredevil seems sweet. Like,
not even coming in. They're in the main.
Yeah.
They're just coming in clutch.
I still think, I don't know if I would have left those in, because really all you have are the shocks and the 1 lightning strike. I'm sure, like, obviously Terrence doesn't know he's only playing 1 lightning strike, but if all you saw were strikes and shocks, I don't know if Daredevil's good enough
Yeah, I don't think so either.
to keep in just for that, but, you know, it ended up working out there, which he's proven me wrong every time. I thought he was going to take out the Varric's Blade Wing against Mono Red. He left it in, won him the game.
So
I thought you would take out the Daredevil. He left it in. For all I know, this Ambush Viper can win the game.
No.
Oh, especially it's going to keep that Narset in check, unless he's able to find a shock specifically, which he did. There's also a Sarkin. Now you got to make a decision: kill the Daredevil or set up the late game. He's going to go with killing the Daredevil
for the immediate value.
I think that's correct, because unless Terrence has a Haster or another Daredevil, he's going to be able to get Narset value again.
Yeah, I was going to say, as opposed to getting straight to that Sargon value, just kind of riding out the Narset until she's out of counters.
And for all we know, that Narset could definitely find another one, which does not matter. That Narset is dead.
Yeah.
Because we're going to give that haste. We're going to come in at the Narset and then at the face, because Shock cannot kill Gruul Spellbreaker. Nope. So if anything, Chris is going to save a couple points of damage by killing off the Dire Fleet. But that Narset is gone.
Yeah. It's one of the many great things about this Gruul deck is how many just smaller haste threats it does to pressure all these Planeswalkers that Chris is running.
Which I'm sure Terrence is a little unhappy right now. The fact that he had to not be able to put a +1/+1 counter on it. Oh, it didn't matter. Lava Coil came out to play. Because then it could get killed by Lightning Strike, Deafening Clarion. But it ended up being a Lava Coil, so it worked out. He got to kill a Narset out of it. Yeah. And Chris was able to stabilize pretty well there. He killed both of his creatures, lost a Narset, but got a Saheeli. And that Saheeli is just going to start making 1/1s to block until I think he actually does have a Sarkin in hand, until that Sarkin just wins the game. Ooh.
Well, there's a Phoenix against
a
board that can't necessarily answer it.
Gone.
So.
You know, possibly shooting off that Lava Coil may have been a little too soon, since the Spellbreaker. Oh no, Spellbreaker has trample, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, so the Saheeli tokens can't even keep it in check. So I think using the Lava Coil is fine.
Yeah, it was right, but certainly having the Phoenix to follow up is a little bit backbreaking for Chris.
But here we're gonna gain 1 after taking 2, and then probably just gonna make a 4/4.
Yep.
But the interesting part is it will keep Terrence at bay, because if Terrence attacks, then I think Chris can just like almost one-shot kill him. So that Rekindling Phoenix has to sit there and wait and hope to trade with a dragon or a planeswalker, and then come back the following turn.
Yeah.
So Terrence is definitely looking for some action here. He probably like a planeswalker of his own, like a Sarkin, that can make a 4/4 and start putting some pressure on the board, because compared to what we saw...
He gets a Sarkon, he can start attacking too. He can start attacking the Sarkon, force him to trade his dragon away.
Exactly. It's definitely, compared to what we just saw against Brandon, Terrence's deck definitely slowed down. I feel like he's been drawing a lot more lands. Like, he's only cast a hand... Ooh. He's just going to go right for that Sarkin, which, if Chris happened to get a second one, this could be a real good position for him. I think if Sarkin dies, Chris has a second Sarkin in hand. If it doesn't, no, okay, they're just going to trade. He probably doesn't have that Sarkin. But does he have the removal spell for the totem? Dire Fleet into Shock.
Or Lava Coil.
Into kill... Well, no, we're just going to kill off that Sarkin.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And Spell Pierce won't do anything.
Yeah.
We still got 3 mana open. So that Shock is just going to deal with the Sarkin, which means You have Nahiri. Or Saheeli versus my 2-1 double striker.
Yeah. So, once again, Daredevil comes in, grabs a shock, decimates Chris. So, 0-2 Ralph is on the Daredevil.
Twice in a game.
Yeah.
Not even this match, twice in one game.
Terrence is just really rubbing it in.
He really is. He must know me and be like, yeah, I want to prove him wrong every chance I get. Yeah. He probably just hears me.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with Chris here. He was definitely looking really good until that second dire. Ooh, Baby Teferi. Okay. Are we bouncing in the chamber or?
It has to be the chamber. Oh, the token. Right.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has to be a token.
Yeah.
I was looking right. I thought I was just like, oh, yeah, he's just got like a devil. I'm just so used to Tibble all day that I forgot it was a Rekindling Phoenix token.
No.
Like, not many people play Rekindling Phoenix anymore, so it's, I don't want to say a breath of fresh air since it's been around forever, but it's a change of pace. Yeah. I was not ready for it.
Well, it's actually been fluctuating in and out, especially at the start of this meta. It was everywhere.
Oh, definitely. So. I definitely think it's settled, and you don't see it too often, but Terrence here he's riding Rekindling Phoenix to hopefully a Mythic Championship invite, but he's got to go through Chris, who's putting up a real good fight, got game 1, and he's putting up a solid defense game 2.
Yeah.
And here we're probably just going to throw a blocker under each one because you'd have to commit 3 servos to the Dire Fleet in order to kill it, which, might as well. Like, you kill one more servo than you would have before, but Dire Fleet's gone. Yeah. And then you just throw one under the Chamber Growth, but
he's just chomping, not even acting, or not even looking for a trade.
Yeah, I think a trade there isn't horrible. Like, you lose one more servo, but there's a creature off the board. Yeah. He could also just be hoping to find a Deafening Clarion, but now this Vivian can start finding some more creatures for him, which even when Chris deals with these ones, Terrence will just have, or he will whiff, unfortunately. Yeah. Unless he wanted that land for a specific reason, but I couldn't imagine he would.
But I was watching a video on Channel Fireball, right, with Matt Nass talking about Gruul aggro, and he was questioning about putting Reed and like Vivian Reed here in the 5-drop slot, even main board, but the amount of non-creature spells you play now in these decks with so many of the planeswalkers coming into their own light in the standard format, Vivian Reed is just not as good because the hits don't come through as much as they used to, at least at the rate that Black Green Explorer was used to. So certainly when I saw this in the sideboard, I was pondering it, but I'm sure not every time he'll whiff and hit a land. So
Narset is so good.
Yeah.
Especially right here, like we saw at least a Karn, so he's getting at least another Planeswalker. But it's making another servo. It's another thing Terrence kind of has to deal with. Luckily for him, Vivian does not say draw cards, so it does get around the Narset, which I think is what Chris was double checking to see. Oh, did I get lucky and like shut down a Vivian at the same time? But no, he's just gonna look, see what he takes, and he's gonna go with a Karn. Yeah. So we got another. Oh, that's actually real good here because you can play this Karn and make a construct.
And with all those Saheeli tokens, with everything that you're playing, making a 1/1, making the constructs bigger,
Well, yeah, but then you can also, with Saheeli, make one of your servos a construct. And then you just start swinging it with 2 construct. That's, whew. I watched Chris do that. If it wasn't Chris, it would have been the other Jeskai player. So I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, that was a real good play. Turning this into a construct and then beating face.
Yeah. All you need is a Psy Master Thopterus in there, and then you're off to the races.
So I think what we need here for Terrence is a card that is not in his 75, Star of Extinction.
Yeah, that would be real helpful for Terrence.
Oh, we did bring in the Lyras.
Ooh.
I was curious if he thought that was going to be necessary or not. I thought like if he thinks the board state is going to go like this, that having her wouldn't be necessary, but he probably wanted it as a backup get out of jail free card, which
I guess so.
If somehow Terrence pulls this back, but Chris gets to pick that up, then it'll do exactly that. But this is looking real good for Chris, and without Terrence having Star of Extinction, it's not looking great for him.
Yeah, all these Planeswalkers are going to be probably too much for him to handle. Yep. Like the Phoenix just gets answered by the Teferi on board.
Yeah, that takes a little while since the Teferi has to plus, but like if Chris can just find like a prison realm to deal with that, then
Yeah.
Oh my god, I must think that's the end of this, but
certainly he would prefer one of those hasting threats to at least put some sort of pressure on these planeswalkers. But
because here, just there's so many tokens, and we didn't make a construct instead since we plus. I think definitely here is like a fine time to trade with one of the Daredevil, or you can just let your Narset die here, and if you find a Sarkhan, or even there, you can actually just chump and hope with Narset to find a Sarkhan, because if you do, that should just be the end of the game.
Yeah. So
because we're gonna play Rekindling Phoenix here. That'll block 8. Oh, and a Ripjaw Raptor.
Ripjaw Raptor.
So we got two guys. Yeah. But 4, 8, 12, 16. So there were 12 get through to Terrence, so that's still going to chunk them real good. So we'll see what happens. What are we going to get off of our set?
2 Clarions, a Shock. So either a Clarion or a Shock.
Which aren't horrible, but aren't great at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep the Clarion, how much life for 3 mana is that gaining when you attack in with your Planeswalkers? So that's not
but that's
not
if
nothing.
You had the Sarkhan. Since we don't have the Sarkhan, I think it actually decides, like, I think just taking the Shock and killing something off here, like the Growth Chamber Guardian before that can get you another card, or even the Direfleet Daredevil, I think is fine. I think killing off the Chamber Guardians here, because...
Yeah, you don't really need to get bigger with the construct.
Yeah, it won't get giant.
Servo combo,
exactly.
So.
The Chamber Guardian won't get giant, and he won't get a second one, because I believe Terrence is out of cards. So I think finding a way to deal with Vivian and Growth Chamber can just end this game. But he has also got to be a little worried about the Phoenix up there that will go unchecked. But he could also always minus Karn and get the Lyra back, which is exactly what he's going to do.
Oh, now he's grabbing another construct?
Oh, he's going to make a construct. I definitely thought...
I was looking for that shock value.
I definitely thought that's not what we were going to do.
Nope.
Oh, maybe he's just going to go for the win.
Yeah. Grab a servo.
Because if you can find a Sarkhan here... But I definitely think you could have saved the Karn just in case. Because that is a whiff on Nahiri.
Whiff.
Or Narset.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of liked picking up the Lyra and playing her there. Yeah. Unless he happens to have the second one in his hand.
I think he does. Yeah, I think that's literally what that is there.
Yeah, if he has the second one, then
yeah.
Ignore me. You don't need that Lyra. You got one.
Yeah.
Because that is what's going to keep the Rekindling Phoenix in check.
Yeah. That is the card. Yep. It's right
there. He definitely has a Lyra. So I think jamming that out is fair.
Yeah.
Because Terrence then has to find a way to kill it in order to then get in with Rekindling Phoenix, which...
Yeah.
Does he have any options to kill a 5/5?
Just struggle survive.
Yeah.
Or collusion clauses rather. Not
he would have to have that one. And that's if he brought it in.
Yeah.
We'll find out, because here's the draw. After we show you everything. I think he's trying to think, do I have an out? And we're going to find out if Terrence, in fact, did have an out.
What's Vivian at? Vivian deals with flying creatures.
Vivian does deal with creatures.
Flying creatures.
Flying creatures, that is correct. It looks like...
Looks like that's what's happening now, yeah?
Yep, she did have enough to keep her,
so the game's not over.
Andre and I were talking about it a little bit. It was a little hard to read Terrence's dice. He has been plussing it, and I don't think Chris has done anything to
really do anything
keep her in check. Yeah, so that makes sense that there's enough of those to do it. And we're going to kill off a Narset. And he does not want Karn to get back another one. But I think this is still fine right here, because you could definitely make a trade or just chump block some more.
Yeah.
Because then you can get your Lyra back, and then you have another Lyra that Terrence has to deal with.
Yeah.
And then all he has is a Direfleet Daredevil, and we have another Narset activation.
Which, I mean, got stupid value out of Chris's shocks in his graveyard, but
yes,
you might be right coming on the tail end of this game.
Because like Chris is still sitting on another shock that can deal with the Direfleet, which then Terrence, all he'll have for blockers is Mobilized District. Yeah, we're just gonna block and block. We'll give him a card off of Ripjaw Raptor. But
and I can only imagine before he draws, he's gonna grab the Adapt Growth Chamber. He's gonna grab the additional Growth Chamber champion or whatever. So
yeah, I don't even think he needs to if he really wanted to, but he'd go to anyways.
Yeah.
Because the servers are just 1/1s. Like it's not like it'll die, but I guess he's finally realized, I got nothing else to do, so I'm finally just going to activate this.
It's like thin your deck, right? Technically, it's right.
And then also it gets you another blocker because you can play this. And Chris is tapped out, so if Terrence wanted to, he could play Growth Chamber and activate it already. Yeah. If that was his plan, I'm assuming he probably would have shuffled unless he would have just told Chris, but we'll see. Maybe he'll still drop it out. And then Narset will be dying.
Yeah, Narset's dropping.
We will lose some tokens. I think we're just double checking how Ripjaw Rapture works. Oh, I see what they're checking. I wonder if he's asking if he'll get to draw the card because of Narset, but all the damage will happen simultaneously, and the trigger will happen afterwards.
Yes, the damage will go through, the trigger will be on stack, and then it'll go. Right?
Well, so the way it happens, all damage will be dealt, Narset will be dead, and then the damage trigger will happen to Ripjaw, and he should get his card, unless for some reason Enrage doesn't work the way I think, which... Okay, he is drawing. I didn't think he was going to draw for a second. I was going to say, that is a triggered ability that would happen after all damage is done.
Yeah.
But, okay. So. Are we jamming? Yes, we are. Growth Chamber, Guardian, Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
And yep, we're just going to go ahead and plus that, get the other one out of our deck, which is nice because now both of those are at a definite Clarion range. Rekindling Phoenix, sure, but the Ripjaw Rapture also, so Terrence can try to grind this deck back, or this match back, since Chris really hasn't done much the last couple turns. He's just stalled out, which is why I think definitely getting that second Lyra would have been sweet. Mm-hmm. But we'll see if we get it back this turn to keep the Rekindling Phoenix in check.
But that's when Terrence breaks out the 3 collision clauses, right?
He just drew it off the Ripjaw Rapture, and Chris is going to spend this turn stabilizing, and he's just going to kill things.
Well, bam.
Yep. Yeah. And then the Rekindling Phoenix gets to take out another Planeswalker, and Terrence can slowly start to get this match back.
A caster can hope.
Yep. I definitely thought Chris had this match, especially if he was able to find another Sarkhan. Yeah. So we are going to go on the Lyra plan. Currently, we got Lyra, Sacred Foundry, X in hand. It's another Saheeli and X. So we'll see what we got. Are we going to kill off Teferi? If he has another baby Teferi, I could see killing this one off in order to bounce something, but... Oh, he's doing math first. He must be a little worried. He's probably thinking, what happens if this Lyra dies?
Yeah.
But either way, we jam out the Lyra. If that doesn't get dealt with, that can kill the Phoenix and gain some life, so it negates a couple creatures. Mm-hmm. So we're jamming Lyra. We have the Mobilized District.
Yeah, which is now free because of the 4th legendary.
Oh, because of all the legendaries. We're going to shock to keep Vivian in check from being able to kill Lyra. And then we'll get another Saheeli token. So Chris is definitely still keeping, I think, the board state slightly in his favor.
So Chris was able to find a second copy of Lyra here. Can Terrence find a second copy of Vivian?
That would be pretty sweet if he just gets the plus Vivian, play another Vivian, kill the Lyra, and then he gets to kill Teferi or Karn, depending on what he feels like. I'd imagine it's probably going to be the Teferi, but... He might go for the Karn.
You whiff again?
No, he's got choices. He's trying to decide.
Oh, he has a war boss there.
I think he has choices between lands.
He has a war boss there.
Ooh, he does. Interesting. I didn't know if he would bring in, because I'm pretty sure those are sideboard.
Well, there's definitely one there. So, no.
The Legions were in the main.
Yeah.
Well, he decided to go with a Lone War Elf. Because I definitely don't think Legion Warboss is great in this matchup. Yeah. Since the Deafening Clarion will just clear the way of that. Mm-hmm. Elf. So we're definitely starting to go wide here with Terrence, but unless he can find Domri to give them a little more oomph, they're just little tiny guys.
Yeah. there's some argument from taking Domri out because you don't need to be so explosive, and the fighting doesn't really mean anything. It could be a chance that they're just
I hope he didn't, because if he took out the Domri, that'd be unfortunate. Whereas Domri can come down, have the Rekindling Phoenix fight Lyra, and then that's off the board, because First Strike is irrelevant outside of combat.
Yeah.
And then you just get your Rekindling Phoenix back. So I'm hoping Terrence did not take out the Domris, because Domri could be super helpful for him right now.
So, Baby Teferi doing what Baby Teferi does best, bouncing Rekindling Phoenix specifically to hand. And
Yep. Which now there's no flyer, so Lyra can start to do some work here, take out the Vivian and gain some life. Yeah. Because he just has so much life that even if Terrence tries to Alpha Strike here, I don't think that would be a great decision. If anything, he might try to take out a Planeswalker or two here.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely have options for Chris.
He's got that, a Lava Coil, and Saheeli. I think it is. A Lava Coil is big if Rekindling Phoenix comes back in.
And it definitely is, since it's sitting in his hand.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he decided to do that. And try to make another guy, because if I was going to do that, at least I would have minus the first Saheeli on a servo to make it a construct.
Yeah.
And then throw it in there, because at this point it's at minimum of 5/5.
Right.
So in order for him to kill off a 5/5, he either has to trade his Rip Draw Rapture, which sure he'll get a card, but now he has a creature off the board, or he's just gonna throw away one of these other little guys. Oh, he does have the fourth one. I thought it was in the graveyard, but no, that is a Lone War Elf. So we do have the fourth Growth Chamber Guardian, and we're just gonna have a lot of those on the field, but Karn Construct is currently outdoing it.
Yeah, so
I believe.
Should be a 5/5. I think he actually has 3 servos up there. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he has at minimum 3 servos. I don't know if he has any more, because Chris's board state is definitely getting wide due to the Planeswalkers and the tokens.
So. You should do the grid of Planeswalker layouts like they do on Arena.
Yep. Yeah, that would definitely be a little helpful. I know that's how I've done it personally, but I know people also like to have it just side by side like this. Rekindling Phoenix.
Little does he know the Lava Coil.
And Chris is probably very excited that he gets to Lava Coil.
Despite pitching the Lava Coil at the very, very start of this.
Yep.
Not even pitching it, but wasting it almost.
Yeah, but that Spellbreaker kind of had to be dealt with a little bit. So let's see.
Yeah, it's not really wasting. But
also, here just having that Lava Coil, and now Lyra just gets to
finally... ew. Oh, no.
Did he find the Sarkhan?
No, I'm just saying, Lyra just be able to go ham, just connect facing with the 10 point life swings.
And there comes the Lava Coil. That's going to get him another server token. And then we're going to plus on Karn. See if maybe we can go Sarkhan. Oh, that's, I believe, game.
It should be.
4,
no
8,
flyers, right?
12, 5, that's 17. No flyers. It's 17. So it's not enough to kill him, but it's very, very close to kill him. And I think he's trying to, he's just doing the math, am I dead? No, I'm not dead. This is not good.
Yeah.
Because it is close enough. And we still have the Karn, so for all we know, he could just flip over that Lightning Strike right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's only a 1-of, so Terrence would not give it to him. Yeah, unless Terrence has a Star of Extinction that he just found on the ground.
Dust it off. Put in a sleeve he found.
I think this is going to be the final turn for Terrence. And it'll be a Mythic Championship invite for Chris.
And there's the handshake. So
Chris
there
will
you have
be
it.
going to Barcelona. Congratulations to him.